Thank you, Excellencies, rectors, professors, colleagues, the graduating and the incoming students, families, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, and for me it sounds as if it would have been just a few months ago, we celebrated the 20th anniversary of the European Master in Human Rights and Democratization, EMA, in the presence of some 300 alumni, many of whom are now working in high-level positions in intergovernmental, non-governmental, governmental organizations, in business, civil society, etc. We also paid tribute to Antonio Babiška, who was and who remains the Spiritus Rector of EMA and who inspired us to jointly build up this program, but also our European Inter-University Center and the global campus of 7 similar master programs in all world regions. And we are proud of our more than 3,000 global campus alumni. We are proud of our recent now graduates who yesterday successfully defended their master thesis on a variety of highly innovative and highly inspiring human rights topics. And we are also proud of our newly enrolled students who were selected in a highly competitive procedure and who just concluded the first week of the introductory classes, workshops, and I should also add discussions with a group of distinguished members of the European Parliament. And I talked to all of them and they were highly impressed by the skills you have. I taught myself on Thursday and again I was impressed. You're starting now, but already you bring a lot of knowledge about what are the global achievements, problems and challenges in the field of human rights. But I am also proud of what we call the global campus of human rights, and I am very happy that I can tell you that this morning we finally, after some 1 year of negotiations, reached a compromise between all our about 100 universities, that we will transform the current European inter-university network into a global inter-university network that will be called the Global Campus of Human Rights, also legally speaking. So 1 year from now here, if everything goes fine, and I'm sure it will, then EIUC will no longer exist. It will be renamed Global Campus of Human Rights, and those students who were now starting their academic year will already be graduated by the Global Campus of Human Rights. And this network, this Global Campus, is by far the most prestigious institution in postgraduate human rights education in the world. By combining academic knowledge with very practical skills and ethical attitudes, we offer the most advanced and successful master programs, not only in Europe, but in 7 regions of the world. Now, that might sound a little arrogant to you, but I mean it. Why am I so confident and convinced that we are the best? Because we are different. We are different from other human rights master programs which are mushrooming around the world, and many of them have been inspired by our pioneering work. But what makes us so special? Our master programs, all of them, are not offered by one university only, but they are a joint undertaking by many different actors and stakeholders. First of all, we are a global network of some 100 well-known universities with many outstanding human rights professors and from different disciplines, some of the leading human rights institutes worldwide. But every master program is, and that is the key to our success, is a joint activity of many different universities in the respective regions. In Europe, for instance, it's 41 universities of all 28 European member states who actually jointly decide upon the program. They are jointly teaching, coming to Venice, teaching in the first semester. They are receiving students in the second semester, supervising the students. And finally, the students have to defend their master thesis before an exam commission that is composed of all our universities, the different disciplines. So we try to be as objective as we can in order to grade you in the best academic manner. But secondly, we are only able to offer these special services to our students thanks to our partners in the international community. And above all, I wish to express my deep gratitude to the European Union, which not only initiated the European Masters Program and the Global Campus, but which has also been our major donor and partner from the very beginning. We consider ourselves as the flagship of the European Union's commitment and insistence to promote human rights education worldwide. And it's today more important than it has ever been before. We closely cooperate with the European Commission, the Council, the European External Action Service, the European Parliament, and the Fundamental Rights Agency. All EU institutions send their own experts to teach, participate in our master programs, conferences, and training workshops. I'm particularly happy to welcome Henriette Geiger, who is representing the European Commission at a high level and who will address you soon. But in addition to the European Union, we cooperate closely and are also supported by many other international organizations, regional organizations, the United Nations, and its specialized agencies. And again, I'm very glad to announce that we will renew our long-standing and very fruitful cooperation with UNESCO by signing another memorandum of understanding today. But we are also cooperating with many governments and national institutions, and we will sign another memorandum of understanding with 4 important Italian lawyers' associations, initiated by one of our former graduates who is sitting here. We also cooperate with bilateral development agencies, such as the German GIZ, German Society for International Cooperation, which fosters a close or closer cooperation between the 3 regional human rights courts in Europe, in the Inter-American system, and in Africa. And finally, as a global network of academics and universities, we are also part of global civil society and actively cooperate with numerous non-governmental organizations, media, and artists around the world. And that brings me to another aspect of this graduating and inauguration ceremony that you might have seen from the program. The arts and human rights have much more in common than we usually might think. On the one hand, human rights to freedom of expression and of course freedom of the arts protects artists against censorship, repression, and intimidation. And this is again very important in a time when the space of civil society is gradually shrinking. But on the other hand, the arts in all their expressions, whether it's the fine arts, photography, sculpture, poetry, theater, cinema, music, etc., appeal with emotions, empathy, and passion to a much broader public than we as human rights academics could ever reach. In times of global crisis, instability, insecurity, and global turmoil, many artists feel the urgent need to link up with the human rights community to make use of their specific skills to spread the positive values and messages of human rights and democracy. And there is no better place on our planet, I would say, than Venice, with its rich cultural heritage, as exemplified in this beautiful building. And we are very, very grateful that we can always again make use of the Scuola Grande, Del Rocco with these magnificent Tintoretto paintings that exemplifies it. But it's not only this, it's the Biennale of Arts and Architecture, the oldest and one of the most prestigious human rights film festivals, or not human rights, film festivals in the world, where we have the privilege to cooperate with. All this is making Venice special in combining the universal language of arts with the universal language of human rights. And in this respect, I'm particularly grateful to Julian Pfeiffer, who is sitting over there, and his Musicians for Human Rights, who have become friends of EIUC and the Global Campus and cooperate with us on many occasions, including by providing us with some unforgettable pieces of world music today. Thank you. The same holds true for Koen van Mechelen, who is sitting here, and who was so kind to dedicate to our monastery of San Nicolo, but that means to the Global Campus of Human Rights, a beautiful sculpture entitled Collective Memory, made of Carrara marble, and who donated yesterday a miniature version of this sculpture to the graduating students yesterday. And as from next year, we wish to turn our beautiful monastery of San Nicolo into a human rights pavilion, with Koen van Mechelen again acting as a curator. And together with 30 other well-known artists around the world, Koen is also contributing to a beautiful art book called Imagine Human Rights. Artists celebrate the Universal Declaration that we will present to the public at our next big international Global Campus conference in Beirut on 10 December. On this occasion, instead of celebrating the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we wish to engage in a critical and self-assured dialogue with those who think that the era of human rights is over and that we are already entering a post-human rights and a post-democracy society. And we will prove that the current threat of undermining the basic values of human rights and democracy is only a short intermezzo in world history, and that finally these universal values will prevail. A special thanks also to our keynote speaker, Hawa Ibrahim, who also is already, if I may say so, a friend of the Global Campus. She's a laureate of the Sakharov Prize many years ago already, but very, very active as a human rights defender in the best sense of the word. And we are very honored to have you here today again. Dear graduates of the EMA academic year 17-18, I warmly congratulate you to your outstanding performance. You deserve to join our rich alumni network of human rights ambassadors. I'm fully aware that we send you, with all your knowledge, skills, and enthusiasm, into a world that is much more hostile towards human rights and democracy than 2 decades ago when we founded this master program. But join forces with other members of the global human rights and arts community, stay creative, use your passion, and adhere to the following core principles, which my good friend Ian Martin defined as the 4 weapons of successful human rights defenders. First of all, show empathy for victims of human rights violations, who should always be at the center of your work. Secondly, be truthful and base your work on objective facts in a time of fake news and so-called alternative facts. Third, found your actions on the universal law of human rights as the major empowerment tool. And last but not least, believe in the strong power of collective action of ordinary citizens and civil society. Together, we can change something. We can change the world. Dear masters, or masterini, I should say, of the academic year 2018-19. I wish you much success, fun, and joy at the Lido, in Venice, and at your second semester destination. You will see that this year will pass much faster than you expect. I'm sure you will complain, like all of your predecessors, that we are making you work much too hard and that you have no time and that we expect too much from you. But I'm sure you will enjoy the world of human rights and this unique experience of pan-European, transdisciplinary, and inter-university learning, teaching, and togetherness. All the best. Thank you.